Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Dallas Stars franchise mode here in NHL 20. So in the last episode, we took on the Calgary Flames in the conference finals, and somehow again, we managed to knock them out in 5 games. And now we're in the Stanley Cup Finals against the 94 champions in New York Rangers, who have a very good squad still. It's pretty much the same as it was back in 94. A few minor changes, like new guys they picked up, like Kovalenko was one, Stu Barnes, Ron Tugnut, etc. So anyways, during the regular season, they went 44, 26, 8, and 4, and they were 9 and 1 in their last 10, and they've been very good in the playoffs. While us, we were 7, 1, and 2 going into the playoffs, and we are continuing that trend of being a very good defensive team. As you can see so far, 12 and 2 in the playoffs. Our playoff run so far, we took out the Russians in only 4 games. Then we took out Chicago in 5 games, who was a very good offensive team, but we managed to kind of maintain our defensive status and not let them score a lot. As for the third round, we took out the Flames in 5 games, mainly due to our offense picking it up a bit near the end of it as well. And then Andy Moog, who came in replacement because Darcy Wackelick went down, played pretty solid as well. So I think we just have a very good defensive depth, it seems like, and our goaltenders are assimilating really well. So this should be an interesting Stanley Cup Finals because the Rangers have a very good team for the most part. The only weak point really with them is their top 6 defensive pairing, which are both 60 overall kind of guys. So I don't know why they're playing them, because they could literally pick up anyone they wanted. There's no cap space in this build at all, so I don't understand what the point is with them. But anyways, they've been doing good still with those 260s, so I'm not going to overestimate them or underestimate them. So let's get into this Stanley Cup Finals against New York and see who could come out on top. Will the Rangers win the Stanley Cup for the first time in this build, or will we win our first Stanley Cup in franchise history? We're about to find out. So game number 1 on home ice. First period, and 2-0 for your Dallas Stars. Wow. Okay. So Paul Cavallini scores and Dina Vason scores. So we're a very good first period team, and we've been all playoffs so far. I think we've only allowed maybe 4 or 5 goals in the first period throughout the entire playoffs. I'll probably have to go back and check on all that stuff, but we're up 2-0 after 1 so far. Shots 11-8 in favor of us. Second period, and it's a 3-1 lead for us. Courtnall makes it 3-0, but Stu Barnes, who eventually played with Dallas in real life, makes it a 3-1 game. Shots are 23-15 in favor of us. Let's see if we could lock this one down here in the third. Sergei Zubov, another future Dallas Star, makes it 3-2. Not good. Come on, boys. Let's get insurance here. Penalty kill and a short-handed goal from Dina Vason, but Adam Graves still gets a power play goal on that one. I'm not liking our performance in this last half of the game. Power play, and we don't score. Last 5 minutes. Time winding down, and Steve Larmer makes it 4-4. Goddamn. Andy Moog dropped the ball in this first game. That's why I want Wackelick back in net. Hopefully he comes back pretty soon. So it's a 4-4 game. Shots are 31-30. We got scored 3-1 in that third period. So we need to kind of play a bit better defensively like what we did in the first 3 rounds. So here we go. Overtime underway. Let's see who could be our hero here. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Come on, Mike Medano or Neil Broughton. And we're going to score, and it's Dave Gagne. Okay, that's one of the veterans I could have called out, but I didn't. Shots were 36-34, and we win game number 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals 5-4. Nicely done, boys. Let's take a look at those player stats. Good offensive game, not a very good defensive game, but it could be because Moog is 37 years old at this point. So Cavallini from Gagne and Lundell, Vason from Lundell and Young, Courtnall from Medano and Adams, Vason from Stapleton, and Gagne from Broughton and Klatt. Nicely done, boys. 3 stars of Vason the first star, Gagne the second star, and Larmer the third. Okay, so hopefully Wackelick is back shortly. I think he's supposed to be back for the 18th. And we've suffered another injury. Are you kidding me? We suffered 2 last round, and now we're going to suffer one in the Cup Finals. So Paul Cavallini, one of our best defensemen, is out till the 25th. So that's not good at all. Let's take a look at who we could put in the lineup to replace him, because I think our only depth defenseman is Ludwig. So we'll move up Matt Tkachuk, and then we'll put in Ludwig into the lineup. That is not good. So the 25th is how long away? Damn, that's not until like a Game 7 situation. So we're pretty much going to be battling injuries this entire next round, or this entire Cup Finals, because Gilchrist is still out for a bit longer as well. Let's actually take a quick look at our injuries that we have, just so you guys can get a little bit of an update on how their progress is being so far. So injury report, it's been a while since I've actually been to the screen. So as you can see, Wackluck is back in 2 days, so he'll be back for the next game. Brent Gilchrist is still out for a couple games, and then Cavallini, it said the 25th, so we are just getting slaughtered with injuries at the worst possible time. Hopefully we could fight through them though and still win games. Because Andy Moog is getting old and he shouldn't be able to stop everything, so losing a defenseman like Cavallini is a pretty big blow to the team. Once Gilchrist comes back, it's going to clean up the defensive play a bit more for the forwards, and then hopefully Wackluck could do really good like he was doing in the first 3 rounds. So here we go, game number 2. Let's see if we can take a 2-0 series lead on the Rangers, headed back to New York. First period, and scoreless again. Like, I just keep on talking about the first periods, but this is actually pretty incredible that we've been this good in the first period. We've just, like, we might not be scoring a lot of goals in the first period, but we've been keeping the game tight after 1, which is a good sign, because kind of the second period is where you either win or lose games, I find, because if your team lets in a goal or 2 in the second period, it's kind of hard to come back in the third period, usually. Shots are 12-8 in favor of us. Second period, and the Rangers break the ice. It's Stu Barnes with a power play goal. Our penalty kill has been kind of bad as of lately. Like, it started off the playoffs like 15 for 15, but then like ever since the third round, I think it was, we've just been allowing a bit more power play goals against, which is not good. So shots 24-17 in favor of us. Let's see if we could tie it up here in the third period. Penalty kill. It's a 5-on-3 penalty kill, and we managed to kill off. Nice. Power play for us this time. We don't tie it up, though. Come on, boys. Oh, and Sergei Zubov scores. Damn. Zubov and Barnes are the only ones scoring, and they're both future Dallas Stars in real life, so this is kind of annoying. And Jeff Boogaboom scores to make it 3-0. Yeah, Andy Moog did not have a good game. And we get shut out for the first time in this playoff run and lose our first game in quite a while, and only our third game, I think, of the entire playoffs. So there's the 3 goals for them. All guys who have multiple goals in the playoffs. And our 3 stars, Richter shuts us out, Barnes the second star, and Ruutu the third. So at least Wackluck is back this next game, because we definitely need Darcy Wackluck to help us out a bit defensively, because we've allowed 7 goals in the last 2 games, which is kind of uncharacteristic of our team. So let's put in him instead of Nabokov. I'm not going to send down Nabokov yet, so maybe he's on the bench at least, maybe, or not on the bench. Maybe he's from the press box watching us win the Stanley Cup if we have that chance. That'd be nice. Okay, so 1-1 series headed into New York. If we lose this game, I might make some line changes due to the injury problems we have. So let's see what happens here in game number 3 as we shift to the Madison Square Garden. Come on, boys. Let's get some wins on the road. First period of game 3, and it is 2-1 for us. So we do let in a first period goal this time around, but we do score 2 of our own as well. So Medano scores, and Craig Ludwig, who's only in his second game in the lineup since replacing Cavallini, has scored. So that's kind of a surprise because he's more of a defensive defenseman. Shots are 14-11 in favor of the Rangers. Second period, and 3-1 for us. Good job, Lundell. He's having a good rookie season. He's won the Calder for sure, and he's been pretty good in the playoffs as well in terms of like defensive play and whatnot. So we have a 3-1 lead going into the third. Let's see if Darcy Wackluck could just like close down the door here. And Messier makes it a 3-2 game. Not good. It's another power play goal against. But Medano scores a power play goal right back for us. Another long power play, and we score another power play goal, and it's a Ludwig again. How the hell does Craig Ludwig have 2 goals in a playoff game? Like, this guy's also pretty old. Like, he could retire at the end of the season, so it's kind of surprising. And we are going to win game 3 by a score of 5-2 in New York. Nicely done, boys. Let's keep it up. So Medano's 10th of the playoffs from Adams, Ludwig's 1st of the playoffs from Ledyard and Young, Lindell's 2nd of the playoffs from Gagne and Babbage, Medano's 11th of the playoffs from Adams and Courtnall, and Ludwig's 2nd of the playoffs from Gagne and Broughton. 3 stars in that game, Ludwig the 1st star, Medano the 2nd star, and Gagne the 3rd. So I'm liking how our depth is showing up. Like I was saying with Stapleton, he came into the lineup for an injury problem with Gilchrist, and he produced. And it seems like Ludwig is doing the same sort of thing with Cavallini. So our depth is definitely helping us out here in this playoff run. So here we go, game number 4. Can we win another game in New York and take a 3-1 stranglehold and have a chance to win the cup on home ice? That'd be nice. First period of play. And it's 1-0 for us again. Once again, another good defensive first period. If you guys could go back through all the videos and tell me how much goals against we've allowed in the first period, that'd be nice. If not, I'll do it probably myself. But we've been just a very good first period team. Shots are 13-6 in favor of New York, but we have a 1-0 lead. Neil Broughton with the only goal. Leave it to the veteran and the captain, I'm pretty sure. Second period, and we have a 2-1 lead. Zalapsky scores his first goal, I think, of the playoffs, maybe his second. Yeah, I think it's either his first or second goal. Bookaboo scored for them, but we have a 2-1 lead going into this third. Shots are 20-18 in favor of New York. Let's see if we can just lock this one down and take a 3-1 series lead. Power play, we don't score on it. Come on, boys. Who wants to score for us? Dean Evason? I don't know. I don't know if it's pronounced Evason or Evison. And Stapleton scores. See, that's what I meant, a better depth. It just shows up at the right time. And we have a 3-1 lead in this game. And that is going to be the final. And we have taken a 3-1 series lead. And we're 1 win away from the Stanley Cup. Which still seems strange to me that we're winning the Stanley Cup maybe this early in the build. So Broughton from Young and Klatt, Zalapsky from Young, and Stapleton from Pearson and Craig. Nicely done, boys. 3 stars, Wakaluk, Young, and Bookaboo. I think Wakaluk or Medano is the favorite for winning the Conn Smythe this year. If we go and win a cup, it's either one of those two guys, more than likely. Okay, so we might have Gilchrist back for this game, which would be good. Yes, we do. So Gilchrist will probably be on the ice if we win the Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, that means Mike Stapleton is out, even though he's put up 8 points in 13 games. So Brent Gilchrist back into the lineup. And let's see if we could win our first Stanley Cup in this series already. Like, it would only take 19 games to do so, but let's see if we could win a Stanley Cup on home ice. If we do, I will intervene and let you guys watch the celebration, and then we'll do a end of season wrap up with the awards, the retirements, and then that'll be it for this episode. So it might be a bit of a long episode, hopefully not. But yeah, let's get into this game. Come on, boys. Let's see what happens. We'll do a real-time simulation just in case. And we score already. Dave Babbage, the trade acquisition, coming through with a goal. If we do get a chance to hoist a cup, you will see him with his mustache for sure. A lot of these guys do have facial hair, though, because in real life, a lot of players in the earlier 90s had facial hair. Christian Ruutu scores a first-period goal for the Rangers to tie it at 1. Once again, it's another power play goal. So our penalty kill is something we definitely need to seem to work on for future years, maybe. Shots are 16-9 in favor of New York. Second period. Who wants to take a 2-1 lead for us? And Brian Leach scores for the Rangers. Not good. And they're up 3-1. Okay, maybe I'll do a quick sim of this period. Yeah, quick sim of that period, and we're down 4-2 going into the third. So we might lose this game unless we have a good little historic comeback. Shots are 30-23 in favor of New York. Let's see if we could somehow come through here and tie this game in the third in the Stanley Cup Finals. Or are we going to be going to a Game 6? This might be our first time losing 2 games in a playoff series. Power play, we don't score there. Yep, this is going to be our first time losing multiple games in a playoff round, so kind of a surprise. But hopefully this team could rebound from this loss and not drop 2 straight to go to a Game 7, because I don't want that to happen. So Babbage gets our goal from Young and Courtnall from Medano and Adams. Courtnall's only got 4 goals in the playoffs, so he's been more of a playmaker. There's the 3 stars, Richter, Ruutu, and Bookaboo. Okay. So maybe Gilchrist kind of screwed up the lineup chemistry when he came back, but whatever. And Paul Gavolini's back for this game, which is nice. He's back for a game, which means we're going to have to send back down Nabokov. So unfortunately, Nabokov is not going to be in the press box to watch us maybe win a Stanley Cup, but we'll send him down to the minors just for the rest of the season. And we're going to go back to our lineup input in Cavallini and take out Ludwig. So yeah, Medano's been really good for us though in this playoff run. Like I was saying in like way back in the first playoff episode, he wasn't really producing, but he just came through with a lot of points since then. So Cavallini back in the lineup, which means Ludwig is out. It's nice to have Cavallini back and Matvichuk back down to the top 6. So Cavallini is a bit still injured for this game, but it's worth the risk putting him in the lineup when we could win a Stanley Cup here. So game number 6. Can we win the Stanley Cup in New York? That would be a nice place to win it too, because then the boys could go party afterwards if they want to. So let's see what happens here. First period of game 6, and it's 1-1, so another solid defensive first period. Let's see what happens here in the second. Well, actually, let's take a look quickly. Young and Messier have the goals. 13-9 in favor of the Rangers for the shots. Let's see what happens here in the second period. And it's 2-1 for us. Nicely done, Neil Broughton. You gotta leave it to the 37-year-old to score a goal in the playoffs. Why not? Okay, we're gonna go down to 4-time simulation and see if we could hold off the Rangers in this game 6. Like I said, if we have a chance to win the Stanley Cup, I'll advance and let you guys watch. And Brian Leach ties the game. God damn it. Might be counting my chickens. And Mark Messier takes a 3-2 lead for the Rangers. We might have to make some line changes, because we might be going to a Game 7 situation for the Stanley Cup. After having a 3-1 series lead, I've seen that happen where it collapses so much. Dave Gagne ties the game up at 3. If we go... Oh, shit. Okay, now we just taken the lead. Okay. Let's advance quickly before I forget to. So we have a 4-3 lead. So if for some reason it goes to overtime, it might be a bit long this episode, but hopefully we can just hold them off and win our first Stanley Cup. So I'll let you guys watch the rest of this game, and yeah, see you guys in a second.
Dallas wins it from the neutral zone now. Intercepts the pass at center. Passes right to the front. And a delayed penalty coming up as he got tripped up. Time for the official to pass down his sentence. Tripping is the call, and it's pretty cut and dry, it seems, Ray.
Well, it's like you're in position, then you're not. You reach out, you trip him up, and there's no way to get out of it now.
And the man advantage unit comes out to go to work.
They've been successful on the power play already, James, so now you get another opportunity.
Scores! And the power play strikes again.
James, they've been working on this in practice for the last little while. It's come through big for them tonight. Well, that's the way you draw it up. It just never seems to work like that. Face-off control, a power play goal in just a few seconds.
Dallas extends the lead. What's the philosophy down the stretch here, Ray?
To make sure that you don't get so cautious that you make a mistake and give them a chance. They score. Now they're right on your heels again.
Here's a short pass to Medano. Moves the puck. Pass right in front. Big save. Puck grab by Graves. Pushes it across to Messier. Quick pass to Leach. Passes the puck over to Messier. New York's on the attack.
Messier is able to take that quick pass. He's already got a couple of goals. He's looking for a third.
Too much congestion blocks the shot. Moves it to Medano. The Stars looking against the half wall. Along the wing up the neutral zone. Great hand-eye coordination as he gets the puck back. And that's broken up with a stick in front. New York's got control of it now from their own end. Kapusta's got it on the offensive end. Here's a shot. Comes up with the stop. Taken by Broughton. Takes the feed. Quick pass to Broughton. And That one's stolen at center ice.
New York's turned this game into a really tight affair because nobody can move the puck very freely with good stick positioning to intercept pucks.
Almost down to the final minute here in this third. Directs it on over to Broughton. Dished on over to Zalduendo. Directed over to Broughton. Pass right back. And that skips away on a nice defensive deflection. Grabs the puck at center. Nice pass. Sends a pass over. And a stick in the lane ends that threat. Kovacs moves the puck. On the attack along the boards. Trailing in this one, they have pulled the goalie and the extra attackers out. And tries to make a diagonal pass to Gagne. And there it is! Empty netter.
That'll seal it up. Pretty easy one right there for him to cash in. That should be enough to wrap this thing up. The empty net goal should seal it.
New York's had more shots on goal, but yet they've run into a hot goalie, and they trail late in this third period. Face off here in the neutral zone, and we are back underway.
50, assisted by number 18, and by number...
The Rangers take it from the side. Dallas gains a hold of possession, and the dream is about to be realized. They're about to win the Stanley Cup.
There's not an empty seat in the house. It's another sellout game. The team would like to thank you for your continued overwhelming support.
Oh, we all won this in the driveway of our homes, hoisting a pretend Stanley Cup, but there's the real one. What a thing of beauty.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the cup is in the house. New York's offensive struggles have been the story tonight. Lots of chances, just not a lot of results. Final horn! What every single one of these players played for, Stanley Cup champions, Ray.
When they get a close look at this trophy, they'll see all those names engraved on it. And then one day, their name is going to be on it very soon.
Sheer devastation at one end of the ice and champions at the other. They've just won the Stanley Cup, Ray.
Well, they're elated, and they know that in short order, they're going to get to hoist the cup. At the other end of the ice, though, it's an empty feeling. You've given all you had, and it's just not good enough. And there's no way to rescue it.
You know, I still got to give credit. That was a fun run to watch them, even though it came up short.
Maybe they'll enjoy it in time, but right now, it's empty.
Hard-fought series by both teams, but one's going on and one's going home.
One half of that line is a heck of a lot happier than the other as they get to go through as winners.
Conn Smythe winner, or simply put, there's your playoff MVP.
What an outstanding tournament he's had. From the very first round all the way through, the most impactful player on this team deserves the Conn Smythe.
And here he comes, the skate of a lifetime, coming to collect the Stanley Cup.
I can't even imagine the emotion that's coursing through him right now. All this work, all those years, and it's going to be culminated by holding the Stanley Cup over your head.
Ray, you're right down there at the ice. Give me a sense of the emotion.
Well, everybody's just babbling away there. It's like nobody's really making any sense. They're so excited, hug on to each other. They're looking at the trophy. They can't wait for their turn to carry it around the ice.
I got goosebumps even up here. And as they gather for the team photo, there are your Stanley Cup champions.
This is the emotional picture, the one with the cup for the first time. The polished one will be in a couple of days when everybody's shaved their beards and combed their hair.
So there you guys have it. Your Dallas Stars have won the Stanley Cup by a final score of 6-3 in that game. So there was a late goal by Courtnall and then an empty netter from Dave Gagne that gave us that 6-3 win. Also, Mike Modano took home the Conn Smythe, so that was very nice to see that because he definitely deserved it. So player stats in that game, just so you guys could see. Zalapsky had 2 points, Braun had 2 points, Lundell had some points as well. Pretty much everybody on the team put up some points in that final game. Goaltending wise, Wackelick just continued to play like he did during the regular season with that save percentage. The playoffs, or the goals against, not as much, but at least we got the victory. So 3 stars in that final game. Gagne the first star, Messier the second star, and Neil Broughton the third. So good to see us win a Stanley Cup because our team is pretty old in terms of age. Like, we have a lot of guys that are getting up there and close to retirement. So good to see us win a Stanley Cup here early on. So at least they get a chance to win a cup. Like Andy Moog, Neil Broughton, a couple other guys. So we do have our contract to re-sign with Dallas because we're not signing with another team. So there you go. Dallas for the next few years. So 16-4 to win a Stanley Cup. That's pretty good. So let's get this season wrapped up. So we'll take a look at the awards for the season, as well as we will take a look at player stats for this playoff run, and then we will take a look at the retirements. And then I'll show you guys also the draft class as well. Okay, so the Stockton Heat win the AHL, and we are your Stanley Cup champions in year number 3 already, which is really crazy. I didn't expect us to win it this early. So let's take a look at those player stats for the playoffs first before we get to the awards. A nice 4-2 series win over New York. So Modano at 23 points in 20 games. He won your Conn Smythe. Courtnall had 21 points. Young had 20 points. Great trade acquisition. Braun had 16 points, Klatt 15. Like, pretty much everybody on this team played very well. Like, some of them played a bit weak defensively, but like everybody seemed to produce, at least in like almost every single game. Like, who was it? Where is oh, he's probably not showing up already because he's retired. I'm assuming that. Ludwig, because Ludwig did play, but he's not showing up here. So Ludwig might have retired. We'll take a look once we get to that stage. Goaltending wise, Wackelick was really good, and same with Andy Moog when he did get the chance to play. So very impressed with the goaltending. Okay, let's take a look at awards for this season. So we are your Stanley Cup champions, knocking out Detroit's 2 champions in a row. LA won the President's Trophy this season, and it was us and New York in the finals. As for individual awards, Brendan Shanahan takes home the Art Ross. He also takes home the Hart. Brian Leetch takes home his first Norris of this mode, even though he could have won some in previous years. Joe Mullen takes home the Lady Byng. Anton Lundell takes home the Calder, so that's good to see him win a Calder, or win the Calder. Mike Modano takes home the Conn Smythe. Kirk McLean takes home the Vezina. Darcy Wackelick and Andy Moog take home the William N. Jennings, so that's nice to see as well. Good that continued in the playoffs, because I was not expecting that to. I thought we were going to lose easily in the first round. Bill Holder takes home the Bill Masterton. Mestre, who is Quebec's coach, wins to Jack Adams. Turgeon takes home the Selke. Lindsay goes to Shanahan, and Yager takes home the Richard. As for the AHL, Ron Wilson took an award. Gary Shushuk, Ron Wilson again. Ron Fisher, Mike O'Neill. So some of the guys that were in the NHL at this point in time still were. Well, actually, some of them weren't. Some of them were retired. Some of them were overseas. So kind of interesting. Okay, so I think that's almost it. So let's take a look at retirements for the season. We're going to sim all the way up to that. See if we lost anybody to retirement. I'm assuming we lost Ludwig because he wasn't up there in points, even though he did have like 2 goals in one of those playoff games he played to replace Cavallini. So Hartford's got the first overall pick this year in 1996. This is, so I can't remember. In 1996 is when Chris Phillips went for first overall in real life. So I don't know who else was in that draft. I can't remember, but I'll look afterwards. But Czech Republic second in the draft, Sweden third, Anaheim number 4, and Ottawa number 5. So pretty interesting. Okay, who is going to retire this season? It's crazy that we won the cup already because we do have a bright future with like Nabokov and Vokun in net, so I'm liking this team. So retired players for this year. Let's go by team. So Vancouver lost Tim Hunter this year. He was in the AHL, it looks like, for a few seasons. Yep, he was in the AHL mostly. So there's his stats in case you guys wanted to see. As well, Joel Otto retires with Toronto. More of a fourth liner, but still got to play in that last season. There you go. Mark Potvin also retires at 31 years old. Wow. I guess that's realistic because in real life, I think he stopped playing pretty early on. And then he committed suicide, so rest in peace to Mark. Garth Butcher also retires in Toronto system, so it seems like Toronto picked up a lot of older guys near the end of their careers. There you go, Garth Butcher. Randy Cunningworth retires in Sweden at 36 years old. There you go. Mike Ramsey retires in Pittsburgh, so a lot of guys were put in the AHL, looks like, for their final year, which typically happens. Doug Lidster retires with the Philadelphia Flyers. There you go. Who else retired? Dave Taylor finally retires. Makes sense, because he would have retired in 94 in real life. Ron Wilson retires after his good AHL season, it looked like. Yeah, 77 points in the AHL, and he retires. There you go. I wonder if any of these guys are going to become coaches like Dave Taylor or Ron Wilson or something like that. That'd be nice. Anybody else? It's weird that Ralph Jarrett retired. Huh. Interesting. Doug Crossman retires with Florida at 37 years old. Anybody else? Joel Hanley retires already for our AHL team, which kind of sucks because he was really good down there. Keith Acton retires as a Stanley Cup champion, but he only played one game with us, so I don't think he's eligible. But there you go, Keith Acton. Gordy Roberts retires with the Calgary Flames. He had a good last season, but he didn't get to play much in the NHL. There you go. Anybody else? Ron Fisher with the Buffalo Sabres AHL affiliate. There you go, Ron Wilson. Or not Ron Wilson, Ron Fisher. My God. Kjell Samuelson retires. So there is a lot of retirements, it seems like, this year. There you go. Kjell in real life played till like 41 years old or something like that. So kind of a bit early. Anybody else? Let's see. I don't think so, but we'll keep going just in case. Doesn't look like it yet, and everybody else was free agents. So that's all for forwards. Goaltending wise, any retirements? Nope, no goaltenders retired at all this year. So some decent retirements, no huge names, but I wonder if any of those guys are going to be coaches this year or not. So did we lose any coaches ourselves? Dallas didn't lose anybody. How about Texas? Texas didn't lose anybody. That's good. And I guess... yeah, I guess nobody became any scouts or any coaches, which really sucks because I was really hoping like Dave Taylor or Ron Wilson would have, but I guess they didn't play enough. So that is that. Let's take a quick look at the draft class and the progress reports, and then that'll be it for this episode, as we are running pretty late into this episode already. So here's the draft class again, in case you guys don't remember from quite a few episodes back. We'd have the last pick in the draft, so we'd be around here-ish. So there is this guy who could be low elite. We might want to go with him. Daniel Madsen. Might be interesting. Also, Taves. There's another defensive defenseman. So there's definitely some good picks still late in the draft, which is nice. This guy could be medium elite in Aronson, but he's probably a top 6. Okay. Let's take a quick look at progress reports. See if anybody's grown a lot. And then that'll be it for this episode. So... yeah, a lot of guys are getting statistical growth, it looks like, but Trevor Wong's up to an 83, so he's going to be in the NHL next year for sure. Had a pretty good year again down there in the WHL. Lundell's growing, that's nice. A couple guys are dropping off due to age. How about our goaltending situation? Still the same, and then in the system, Vokun's at 76, and the Nabokhov's an 80, so we're going to have to probably let go of Andy Moog this season, or Darcy Wackluck, and then Nabokov is going to be either our backup or starter next season already. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Dallas Stars franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the offseason where we look to maintain our status as a Stanley Cup champion. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time.